Stupid jump packs suck. None of those were powerful enough to turn this over. Alright guys, what's going on? So today's video we're going to get back to actually fixing the Galaxie. So if you didn't watch the previous video, I highly recommend it. It's actually very entertaining. Me actually driving this thing, literally Main Street downtown where I live, cruise night car show with no windows whatsoever. That was fun, that was interesting. I absolutely froze my butt off. It was really fun. I definitely recommend watching that video. During driving this, the alternator died, or at least what I think the alternator is died. Could be a different issue, but I'm going to diagnose it today. For whatever reason, the thing was driving great, and then all of a sudden we had no charging voltage and it seemed to die because I went to go home at like 9:30 at night. It's like 50, 60 degrees out. Yeah, it was about 50 degrees out. It was dead. So I had to start it. Finally got it jumped. Basically shrunk up my sweatshirt and drove home. I got to figure out why it's not actually charging. So but everything else seemed to drive really well in the car. Everything worked. The one thing I noticed for whatever weird reason, I knew it was a charging system or a voltage issue because once I pulled into the parking lot I last was at before it died, I noticed my tach stopped working, which is very interesting. There wasn't a correct supplied voltage. It probably was having an issue there. I know if the alternator's dead and it's just running off the battery. Once the battery gets to a certain voltage, it will die. You can see our battery right now is at 11.6. I can try and start it, but it's probably not going to. So if I go and pop this open, I highly doubt it's going to actually start. So at 11.6, which 11.6 you can start some cars. I doubt a big block. Yep. I can hear it starting solenoid clicking and doing its thing, so it's I know it's nothing there. It's just a voltage issue, because once we put a jump pack on it, well, in the video we tried a Milwaukee battery, we tried a jump pack that was basically dead. None of those were powerful enough to turn this over. This is a big block 360 FE, big motor. They don't like to turn over, even with a charged battery sometimes. But this is a Delco Remy. It's like a GM style one-wire alternator. I think that's what I get for putting a GM product in a Ford. They do look clean. They're nice and simple. Don't remember what the amperage is. I did just get this from a friend. I think it was a used unit, but all the connections actually are good on the back. It should be grounded through the housing. I might have to add a secondary ground, but it did work before. I'm thinking just because I finally started driving this thing, maybe it overheated and got wiped out. I don't really know what's wrong with it, to be quite honest. So I'm gonna dive into that a little bit, actually kind of run the part numbers and make sure everything's the way it was supposed to be. Maybe I had it hooked up wrong. I don't know. There's only one wire. You can't really mess up one wire. I'm gonna look at it, but either way, kind of annoying. All right, see if it starts now. Stupid car. Stupid jump packs suck. I don't work. It'll start up to an 8-liter diesel. It can't even start my stock big block Ford. What a piece of junk. Alright, supposedly it's at 12.4 now. Alright, so while I wait for this stupid crappy battery, I don't know why I don't have like a legit jump pack. I should. I mean, with the amount of crappy cars I have that don't run, I should really have like an actual jump pack that doesn't suck. So yeah, probably invest in one of those. But anyways, got another power steering pump. This one leaks horribly, you guys saw. I've seen there's a bunch of different ones out there. This I believe is an Eaton pump, the early 60s style that you see on a lot of big block Fords. I thought about converting it to one that's on the F100s of those FEs. Didn't bother. Just because it's power assist Ram, and I wanted to get the pump that's designed for the Ram. Way cheaper to get it without the reservoir, so I did. That's a great sign. It's already leaking all over the package. That's just awesome. Well, that's an awesome sign when it's already leaking everywhere. Well, the good thing is they're tested, so that's always nice. But this does look quite literally exactly like the photo, so that's cool. Oh, I hope this piece of junk actually works. I swear if this thing leaks, I'm gonna lose it. But yeah, that was $200. It actually does come with all the gaskets. It doesn't say it because, you know, why would they do that? Hopefully it has the actual gasket for the reservoir. Yeah, so there you go. It's a card-on pump. Nope, it's a new one. There's your part number if you're curious. If you have a Galaxie, this is the pump I use. I've heard lots of people say they suck. I've heard lots of people say that they're good. I don't know. Mine leaks horribly. I don't want to fix it and then have my seal not work, so I'm just going to get a new one and try that out. And then maybe I'll rebuild the other one and sell it. I don't know. But either way, I need to fix this. It's really bad. I think first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and pull the old pump out of the car, pull it over here, basically swap the reservoir and all the crap that I would need onto this one, including the pulley. This one does come with a keyway, which is cool. I didn't think it was going to have that. And from there, I should, in theory, be able to just bolt this in. I don't think there's anything else that's special. So yeah, I'm going to do that while this stupid battery does recharge. First thing I'm going to do is get the belt off. I think that's a 9/16. Cool thing is, while I get this off, I can go ahead and fix the top of the reservoir, make it look a little more presentable. I might polish it. I thought about stripping it and polishing it. That might be way too many buttons, so maybe I won't. I gotta take the actual power steering line off, which is gonna piss fluid everywhere. Let's see if we actually dump fluid everywhere. Hopefully not. Although this is at the bottom of the reservoir, so it's probably gonna go everywhere. Oh, there we go. Oh, nice. Right on top of that. That could have gone a lot worse. I'll take that. And look at that. We're actually making it into the bin. Let's throw one of these little guys on there for right now. I think that's good enough. It's most of it. That mess could have been way bigger though, so I will happily take that. Really hope this water pump bolt isn't one that goes into a water jacket. No, we're good. This is like the one thing in the engine bay that wasn't like perfectly painted. The fact I get to change this is actually a good thing. We have technology. Beautiful. There's our old crusty dusty unit. Well, this is the right one. Pretty sure it is. At least I think I know what I'm doing sometimes. 90% of the, well, 80% of the time, I know what I'm doing. The rest of it, I just guess and go with it. So we're gonna roll with that. First thing I'm gonna do is actually take this outside and finish draining it, because I didn't. Now I know this power steering pump worked. I don't want to disregard that fact that it worked. I do kind of want to rebuild this because it's not a totally trash unit, and then if one of you guys need a power steering pump, I will probably have one. Or if I need a spare for whatever reason if this one dies. It's probably the more logical thing to do, but I need to figure out how to get the reservoir off. Fun. So I'm gonna go ahead, probably lay a bunch of paper towels out, go ahead and get this reservoir off, get the pulley off, get the arm off, repaint all of it again, and then go ahead and slap it on this guy. One question I get asked like all the time is, how do you know how to do that? Or how'd you learn how to do that? To be honest, I have no clue what I'm doing. And that should be quite obvious. And if it's not, it's because I just get in and just do it. I don't know how to do this. I've never worked with a power steering pump like this before. And the one thing I know is if I take it apart and I replace some stuff and then I put it back together the same way I took it apart, it should work and it should be a little bit better, right? That's what I do with pretty much everything. If you're wondering how to work on your car, the best thing to do is just start doing. So I'm gonna get this pulley out, which I think is this size. Oh, nice. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. My battery charger just tripped my breaker. There's nothing better than products that don't work, so it's a great right off the bat. The seal in this one fits perfectly. The seal in this is super loose, doesn't fit at all. I can tell it's not the right one. And if I put it in the other side, it does the same thing. It like wobbles around. That is not the right gasket, and this is the O-ring they give you. However, the ones that came on my old pump seem to be in good condition still. If I pull this guy off and I route this inward, I can actually probably just put this guy and you can see it fits a lot better. So that's super annoying. I don't know why they give you a seal that doesn't fit. I think I have a Harbor Freight O-ring kit that I can use also and get the same outcome, so I might try that. We're off to a great start with this $200 freaking oil leak fix. I'm gonna try this for like the 5th time. Junk! Alrighty, so we got our new alternator. You can see the difference right here. They're pretty much the same unit. The only difference, well, you can kind of read upside down. So it's just a 60 amp, nothing too crazy. It'll go up to 91 at its max load. You can see there it should be at 14.4. So this one will actually make, or should make charging voltage at idle. The one thing I wanted to point out here is the one thing you guys got to check is your actual belt pulley diameter or size. So you can see this one's actually a lot fatter. So this I believe is a 5/8 and this is a 1/2 inch. You want to make sure your belt pulley is the correct size. So you can see this pulley specifically, my belt was not even down into the groove on this thing. It was sitting on top and you can see the wear marks. This thing was actually starting to wear the belt down. This will prematurely wear the pulley, the belt, and the alternator. You don't want your belt to snap, actually get a pulley size that fits. So this is the correct one. You can see the difference. They're a lot fatter. Be sure that your belt actually fits in it. Make sure you measure how wide your belt is and measure how wide the pulley is. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this thing in. Other than that, it's exactly the same little 1-wire alternator. Cheap little guy from Napa. Good old Napa. Here's your part number if you care enough. Alright guys, so I got everything all kind of buttoned up. You can't tell that I did it, luckily, but you can see I got everything all heat shrunk and loomed the same way it was. I did it a little bit cleaner down here. The alternator itself is cleaner. The belt is actually tight, and you can see how it fits in there a lot better. It's supposed to be flush. If your belt sits on top at all on the pulley, your pulley is the wrong size. Sorry about the focus. I don't know what in the world this thing's doing. But it's supposed to sit flush, just like the water pump does as well. If it doesn't sit like that, if your belt sits up higher, you need to change the pulley. Everything's all good. Tucked under there, you can't even see the power wire. You can actually see it kind of runs up and down and around. So I was very picky about how I did that. I'm gonna fire it up, make sure it's charging, and we should be good. I'm gonna go back to Napa and get my $15 core. Yeah, there we go. There we go. If I raise the idle just a little bit, it comes up to 13.5 with all the accessories on, minus the fans. So I might just have to put a smaller pulley on it, but this will work. That's good. I think our consensus is this alternator is not big enough. I should have thought about it. I have a 60 amp at idle alternator, in theory, 90 max. Each one of the relays for each one of the fans is like 30 or 35 a piece. I think it's in right here. Yep, 30 amp a piece. So that's 60 amps right there of power, plus whatever the headlights are. I realistically on this car should have at least like 100 to I'll probably just get a 160. That's what my truck has, and it doesn't have any issues, and that is a similar setup. So it's kind of a bummer though, and this thing's kind of a pain in the ass to put it on, take on and off, because of how I have everything tucked and loomed. It's not like you can just throw the wires in there. It's fine until the fans kick on. Once the fans kick on, then it's kind of dead in the water. So I'm pretty sure us just kind of idling yesterday with the headlights and the fans on, you can clearly see it was just slowly draining the battery until it died. New alternator wasn't necessarily the issue. I don't think my old one was necessarily bad. Ooh, yeah, that's nice and hot. So I don't think my other one's bad. I don't think it's big enough for this car. Probably gonna take this off and return it, unfortunately. I don't even know if I can. I already put it on. It's not like it doesn't work, but that sucks. It's not nearly big enough for this car. I did not think I was gonna need a bigger one. That sucks. I'm gonna go ahead and fire this thing up. Make sure the power steering's all bled up. Seems like it's working. Hopefully it doesn't leak. Okay, so I actually got it all sealed up. It was just this lower hose a little bit loose. Okay, right there. It was leaking. So I tightened it, stopped. Hopefully it stays that way. I guess we'll see. So far so good. It seems to be running good, not making any noises. It's not coming out of the front seal, which it used to. It's running great. It's running just awesome. Just a cherry 650 idle there. So I'm gonna back it out and clean up my massive mess I made. Hopefully it doesn't leak anymore. I think it leaks out of the either the dipstick or the shifter tube on the tranny, so I gotta fix that too. But the motor doesn't leak anything, so that's good. Why does that do that? That's twice. Alright guys, well, there you have it. Pretty much got everything settled on the car. I'm really happy with it. The power steering looks awesome. Everything looks good. I seem to fix most of the leaks. I think the transmission has one coming out of the dipstick tube or the shifter hole. I have to look. And then looks like I still have a tranny cooler that isn't really sealing very well. That's no one's fault but my own, so that's easy to fix. But yeah, everything's looking good. Power steering doesn't make any noise or whine or leak anymore, so that's awesome. Really happy about that. Runs like a clock. I mean, 650 RPM. It's got a peanut cam. It's a bone stock FE for the most part, so I'm really happy with it. You can just tap the key and the thing has always ran really well. So I ended up ordering a 150 amp PowerMaster alternator, powder coated black, so it'll match basically everything that's also black on the front of the engine. The one that's in it's just too small. I should have just done the math in my head. I have two 30 amp relays for the fans, plus the charging system of, you know, the whole electrical system of the rest of the car, fuel pump, and headlight system. So easily is at least 100 amps right there just to run the car. So I got 150 because I will be putting a stereo in this car. That's what I run in my truck. It should be just fine for this. That'll be here on Monday. We'll go ahead and swap that thing in. Then we should be good to drive it. It does drive and move, but it doesn't really charge at idle. Once the fans kick on, it starts killing the battery. So now at least I know what the problem is. So that's really cool. I'm super happy with this thing. Hope you guys went and enjoyed today's video. Leave a like on it if you did enjoy. I'll see you guys next video. Bye, guys.